Ji-Hwan sat alone in the control room of Outpost K-92. The small station floated near the edge of the solar system, far from Earth and its busy cities. Outside the window, space was silent and black, with only distant stars shining like tiny dots. Ji-Hwan was an astrophysicist, and he liked quiet places. He spent his days studying signals from space, hoping to find something new. One night, as he sipped his hot tea, the computer made a soft peep. A strange signal appeared on the screen. It came from a moving object, a rogue moon drifting through space. It had no orbit, no planet nearby, and no known path. The signal was faint, like a whisper, but it was not natural. It was made by something intelligent. Ji-Hwan's heart beat faster. He checked the data again and again. "This is real," he whispered. He should report it to Earth. But something told him not to wait. If he waited, the moon might vanish into the dark. He made a fast decision. Ji-Hwan jumped into his scouting pod, a small ship used for short missions. He set the coordinates and launched into space. The trip took several hours. As he got closer, the rogue moon looked strange. Its surface was cracked and glowing slightly. The signal grew stronger. He landed near the source of the signal. The air was thin and cold, and the ground looked like glass, broken into sharp shades. He walked carefully, holding his scanner. Then he saw her. She lay on the ground, curled up and barely moving. Her skin shimmered like silver and blue glass. Her arms were thin and long, and her face was not human, but soft and gentle. A glowing liquid oozed from the cracks in her skin. Ji-Hwan froze. "An alien," he said aloud. She opened her eyes slowly. They glowed faintly, full of pain and fear. He stepped closer. "Can you understand me?" She didn't speak, but he felt something in his mind. A soft voice, like a thought. Asterisk, asterisk, help me. Asterisk, asterisk. He dropped to his knees beside her. The scanner beeped wildly. Her life signs were weak. She was dying. Ji-Hwan looked at the strange liquid. It was her blood, or something like it. He scanned it and stared at the results. One compound was missing, something her body needed to live. His scanner showed something surprising. A rare element in her blood was similar to one found in humans. He blinked. My blood. There was no time to create a clean, safe method. She was fading fast. Ji-Hwan opened his emergency kit, pulled out a needle, and took some of his own blood. He connected it to a simple transfusion line and carefully let a few drops into her wound. The reaction was instant. The alien gasped. Her skin glowed brighter. The cracks in her body started to close, slowly. Her eyes opened wider, and she reached out with one glowing hand. She touched Ji-Hwan's chest. A soft light passed between them. His skin felt warm, and something deep inside him shifted. Her voice echoed in his mind again, clearer this time. Asterisk, asterisk, I am Rayla. You gave your blood. Now we are linked. Asterisk, asterisk. Ji-Hwan didn't understand what she meant, but he felt different. He felt stronger. Rayla sat up slowly, her wounds healing. She looked at him with calm eyes. You saved me, she said out loud. Her voice was strange but soft. Ji-Hwan nodded, still breathing hard. You needed help. She looked up at the stars. You are the first. No one has ever done this. Ji-Hwan didn't answer. He didn't know what he had started, but deep inside, he felt something had changed, something big. And it all began with a few drops of blood. Ji-Hwan sat alone in the control room of Outpost K-92. The small station floated near the edge of the solar system, far from Earth and its busy cities. Outside the window, space was silent and black, with only distant stars shining like tiny dots. Ji-Hwan was an astrophysicist, and he liked quiet places. He spent his days studying signals from space, hoping to find something new. One night, as he sipped his hot tea, the computer made a soft peep. A strange signal appeared on the screen. It came from a moving object, a rogue moon drifting through space. It had no orbit, no planet nearby, and no known path. The signal was faint, like a whisper, but it was not natural. It was made by something intelligent. Jaiwan's heart beat faster. He checked the data again and again. "This is real," he whispered. He should report it to Earth. But something told him not to wait. If he waited, the moon might vanish into the dark. He made a fast decision. Jaiwan jumped into his scouting pod, a small ship used for short missions. He set the coordinates and launched into space. The trip took several hours. As he got closer, the rogue moon looked strange. Its surface was cracked and glowing slightly. The signal grew stronger. He landed near the source of the signal. The air was thin and cold, and the ground looked like glass, broken into sharp shapes. He walked carefully, holding his scanner. Then he saw her. She lay on the ground, curled up and barely moving. Her skin shimmered like silver and blue glass. Her arms were thin and long, and her face was not human, but soft and gentle. A glowing liquid oozed from the cracks in her skin. Jaiwan froze. "An alien," he said aloud. She opened her eyes slowly. They glowed faintly, full of pain and fear. He stepped closer. "Can you understand me?" She didn't speak, but he felt something in his mind. A soft voice, like a thought. Asterisk, asterisk, help me. Asterisk, asterisk. He dropped to his knees beside her. The scanner beeped wildly. Her life signs were weak. She was dying. Jaiwan looked at the strange liquid. It was her blood, or something like it. He scanned it and stared at the results. One compound was missing, something her body needed to live. His scanner showed something surprising. A rare element in her blood was similar to one found in humans. He blinked. My blood. There was no time to create a clean, safe method. She was fading fast. Ji-Huan opened his emergency kit, pulled out a needle, and took some of his own blood. He connected it to a simple transfusion line and carefully let a few drops into her wound. The reaction was instant. The alien gasped. Her skin glowed brighter. The cracks in her body started to close, slowly. Her eyes opened wider, and she reached out with one glowing hand. She touched Jaiwan's chest. A soft light passed between them. His skin felt warm, and something deep inside him shifted. Her voice echoed in his mind again, clearer this time. Asterisk, asterisk, I am Rayla. You gave your blood. Now we are linked. Asterisk, asterisk. Jaiwan didn't understand what she meant, but he felt different. He felt stronger. Rayla sat up slowly, her wounds healing. She looked at him with calm eyes. You saved me, she said out loud. Her voice was strange but soft. Jaiwan nodded, still breathing hard. You needed help. She looked up at the stars. You are the first. No one has ever done this. Jaiwan didn't answer. He didn't know what he had started. But deep inside, he felt something had changed. Something big. And it all began with a few drops of blood. Back at Outpost K92, Ji-Huan sat in front of his computer, still trying to process what had happened. Rayla had asked him to stay close, and he couldn't ignore the pull he felt toward her. He had never believed in anything beyond science, but everything about her felt real and important. He had given his blood to save her, and now their fates were tied together. The moon's strange surface outside the station's windows was a reminder that the world he had known was now a distant memory. Things were changing fast, and he wasn't sure how to keep up. The door to the lab opened, and Ji-Huan turned to see his friend and colleague. Da-Yun, walk in. She was a biotechnologist, smart and practical. Her long black hair was tied back, and her glasses gave her a serious look. Ji-Huan, what's going on? I've been trying to reach you for hours. What did you find on that moon? Da-Yun asked, her voice filled with concern. Ji-Huan stood up slowly. still unsure how to explain. "It's complicated," he said. "I found an alien. Her name is Rayla. She was dying, but I helped her." Dayan raised an eyebrow. "You helped an alien?" she asked, clearly skeptical. "I gave her some of my blood. It was the only way to save her." Dayan frowned. "Blood? Jiwan, are you crazy? You don't know what that could do to you. What if she's dangerous?" "I know that I had to do something. She was dying," Jiwan explained, feeling a little defensive. He wasn't sure how to make her understand. Dayan stared at him for a moment, then let out a long sigh. "All right, I'll take a look at the data. But you need to be careful. If you're really connected to this alien, it's not just your life that could be at risk." Jiwan nodded, but deep down, he didn't feel afraid. Something in him was changing, something he couldn't explain. It was like his body was waking up from a deep sleep. His senses felt sharper, and even the smallest sounds seemed louder. His mind raced faster, processing information more quickly than ever before. Later that night, as Ji-Hwan sat alone in his room, he felt the strange sensation again, a warmth in his chest. It wasn't pain, but it was something new. It was as if his body was reacting to Rayla's presence, even though she was far away, in another part of the station. He stood up, walking to the window. The stars outside seemed brighter, more real, as if they were calling to him. He reached out to touch the glass, and at that moment, his phone beeped. It was a message from Dayan. "You've finished analyzing your blood samples. Something is definitely different. You've changed, Ji-Wan. You need to talk to Rayla. This isn't just a small change, it's big." Ji-Hwan stared at the message, his heart racing. He knew Dayan was right. He could feel it in his bones. He was changing. But what did it mean? Without thinking, he grabbed his jacket and left his room. The station was quiet, with only a few dim lights guiding his way. He found Rayla in the medical bay, sitting cross-legged on a soft mat. She was meditating, her eyes closed, but when she heard him enter, she opened them slowly. "You came," she said softly, her voice calm. "I felt it," Ji-Hwan replied. "I don't know how, but I feel like something's happening to me. My body is different." Rayla smiled, but there was a sadness in her expression. "It has begun. The bond between us is strong. It will change you in ways you cannot yet understand. The power that flows through you now is not just human. It is a part of my people, part of something much older." Ji-Hwan sat down beside her. "But I don't want this. I didn't ask for it." She nodded slowly, understanding. "I did not ask for it either. But it is our fate now. You are connected to me, and through me, to the energy of the stars. You will feel stronger, faster, but there is more. You will begin to understand things you never could before." Ji-Hwan felt the warmth in his chest again. It was like a heartbeat, but not his. He reached out and touched his chest, his mind racing. "What does this mean for me? Am I becoming something else? Something not human?" Rayla looked at him with quiet compassion. "You are still human, Ji-Wan, but you are more now. You are a bridge between two worlds, and that bridge will be tested." Ji-Hwan wasn't sure what she meant, but the feeling in his chest grew stronger. It was as if something deep inside him was waking up, something powerful. "You will see soon enough," Rayla said. "The change is just beginning." Ji-Hwan stood up, feeling the pull of something unknown. He didn't know where it would take him, but he knew that nothing would be the same again. Days passed since Ji-Hwan's bond with Rayla had begun, and he felt more and more different each day. He could run faster, think clearer, and his senses were sharper. Even the smallest sounds, like the hum of the station's machinery, now seemed loud and clear. His body was changing, and while part of him was excited, another part was afraid. But the changes weren't the only thing on Ji-Hwan's mind. Something else was happening, something dangerous. The feeling that had been building up in the back of his mind came to a head one quiet evening. He was sitting in the station's command room, reviewing some data when his computer beeped. A new signal flashed onto the screen, unusual, like the one he had seen before. But this one was different. The code was far more complex, and the frequency was unlike anything he had studied before. His heart skipped a beat. The signal was coming from a location far away, deep in space. Ji-Hwan quickly began to decode it, his hands moving faster than he could think. The message was clear now. It wasn't a message for help. It was a warning. His blood went cold as he read the last line. The Draxel are coming. Draxel? Ji-Hwan whispered to himself. He had heard stories of the Draxel, the ruthless, alien race that destroyed worlds and consumed everything in their path. They were known for hunting down anyone who was different, anyone who could challenge their power. And now they knew about Rayla. Ji-Hwan's heart raced. Rayla was still in the medical bay, resting. He couldn't let her know how dangerous this was. Not yet. But he had to warn her. He had to make sure they were ready. He rushed to the medical bay, his steps quick and heavy. When he entered, Rayla looked up from her meditation. She seemed calm, but Ji-Hwan could see the worry in her eyes. They know, Ji-Hwan said, his voice urgent. The Draxel are coming. They've found you. Rayla's face remained unreadable, but her eyes narrowed with understanding. I feared this day would come. The Draxel are a merciless race. They will stop at nothing to destroy what they do not understand. Ji-Hwan paced back and forth, his mind racing. We have to leave. We can't stay here. We need to find a way to hide. Rayla stood up slowly, her glowing skin flickering like a dying star. It is not that simple, Ji-Hwan. The Draxel do not just attack one person. They come for all who stand against them. They will destroy everything in their path. Ji-Hwan's mind raced. But then something clicked. He had been studying the stars, the galaxies, the patterns of space, and a thought began to form in his mind. What if we fight back? He asked, his voice growing stronger. What if we don't run? We could defend ourselves. I feel different. Stronger. I think we can fight. Rayla looked at him with a hint of sadness in her eyes. You are brave, Ji-Hwan, but you do not yet understand. The Draxel are more powerful than you know. They are not just enemies. They are a force of destruction. We cannot fight them alone. Ji-Hwan shook his head, his determination growing. I'm not alone. I have you, and I have what you gave me. I can feel it, Rayla. The power. It's in me. We can find a way to stop them. Together. Rayla studied him for a long moment, her eyes filled with ancient wisdom. Finally, she spoke softly. You are right. We cannot run. But we must prepare. You will need more than just your strength. You will need knowledge, weapons, allies, and we will need time. Ji-Hwan nodded. We can do it. We'll find allies. We'll find a way to stop the Draxel before they destroy everything. Rayla took a deep breath and placed a hand on his shoulder. Very well. We will fight. But know this, the Draxel will not stop. They will come for us no matter where we go. Ji-Hwan nodded, understanding the weight of her words. This was no longer just about saving an alien. It was about saving everything. Earth. His home. And maybe even the whole galaxy. We'll be ready, Ji-Hwan said, his voice firm. Rayla gave a small nod, and then a strange energy seemed to fill the room. Ji-Hwan could feel it, the deep connection between them, the bond that was growing stronger by the day. As he turned to leave the medical bay, he felt something inside him shift. He was no longer just a scientist. He was part of something much larger. And now he had a mission. The Draxel were coming, and Ji-Hwan was ready to face them. The days that followed were filled with urgency. Ji-Hwan and Rayla spent every moment preparing for the Draxel's arrival. They gathered equipment, studied maps of the galaxy, and searched for allies. It was a race against time, and the pressure weighed heavily on Jiwan's shoulders. He had never imagined his life would change like this. A few weeks ago, he had been a scientist studying stars, and now he was preparing for a battle to save the galaxy. In the small command room of Outpost K-92, Ji-Hwan sat in front of a holographic map of the galaxy. Ryla stood beside him, her eyes scanning the data. The map showed the locations of several planets, some of which were in the path of the Draxel. The Draxel were known for their brutal efficiency. They destroyed everything in their way, leaving no survivors. "We need to find a way to fight back," Ji-Hwan said, his voice full of determination. Ryla nodded. "Yes, but the Draxel are powerful. Their ships are faster and stronger than anything we've ever faced. We will need more than just strength to defeat them. We will need knowledge of their technology, their weaknesses." Ji-Hwan's mind raced. He had studied space for years, but this was unlike anything he had ever encountered. The Draxel were not just a threat. They were a force of nature. He could feel the weight of the responsibility on him, but he also felt something else. Something inside him was growing stronger. The bond with Ryla was changing him, and he could sense a power awakening deep within. "We need allies," Ji-Hwan said. "There must be other species out there who would help us. We can't fight this battle alone." Ryla looked at him, her glowing eyes filled with understanding. "You are right, but finding allies will be difficult. The Draxel have already attacked many worlds. Most of the galaxy is too afraid to help." Ji-Hwan clenched his fists. He couldn't accept that. "Then we'll have to change their minds. We'll show them that fighting the Draxel is worth it." Ryla placed a hand on his shoulder. "You have a strong heart, Ji-Hwan. That will help us more than you know. But we must also be smart. We need a plan." Ji-Hwan nodded. He looked at the map again, his eyes scanning the planets. His fingers hovered over one that was far from Earth, a small planet called Xenia. It wasn't a well-known world, but the species that lived there were rumored to be fierce warriors. "I have an idea," Ji-Hwan said. "There's a planet called Xenia. The people there are known for their fighting skills. If we can convince them to join us, they could be the key to winning this war." Ryla studied him for a moment. "Xenia is far from here. Getting there will take time, and we don't have much of it." Ji-Hwan looked up at her, determination in his eyes. "Then we leave now. The longer we wait, the more time the Draxel have to prepare. We can't afford to waste any more time." Ryla nodded. "Very well. We will go to Xenia. But be prepared, Ji-Hwan. The journey will be dangerous." Ji-Hwan didn't hesitate. "I'm ready." They gathered their supplies and boarded the scouting pod. Ji-Hwan felt the familiar hum of the engine as they lifted off from Outpost K-92. The journey to Xenia would take days, but Ji-Hwan knew they had no choice. They had to find allies, and Xenia was their best hope. As the pod sped through space, Ji-Hwan looked out the window at the endless stars. He felt a deep connection to the universe now, as if he were a part of something much larger than himself. His bond with Ryla was stronger than ever, and he could feel her energy flowing through him, giving him strength. But the danger was never far from his mind. The Draxel were out there, and they were coming. He could feel it in his bones. The journey was long, but eventually they arrived at Xenia. The planet was covered in thick forests, towering mountains, and vast oceans. It was a beautiful world, but Ji-Hwan didn't have time to admire it. He had come here for one reason: to convince the people of Xenia to join their fight against the Draxel. The first thing Ji-Hwan noticed when they landed was the silence. There were no signs of life near the landing site. Ryla stepped out of the pod first, her eyes scanning the area. Ji-Hwan followed her, feeling a sense of unease. Where were the Xenian people? "This is strange," Ryla said. "There should be people here." Ji-Hwan's heart raced. Had they been too late? Had the Draxel already reached this world? He looked around, trying to spot any signs of life. Then, from the trees, a figure emerged. It was tall and covered in dark green armor, carrying a spear that seemed to glow with a strange energy. The figure stepped forward, its eyes fixed on Ji-won and Rayla. "We've been waiting for you," the figure said in a deep, gravelly voice. Ji-won's breath caught in his throat. It looked like they had found their first ally. The tall figure stepped forward, and Ji-won could feel the tension in the air. Rayla moved slightly closer to him, her glowing skin casting an eerie light in the dim, twilight forest. "Who are you?" Ji-won asked, his voice steady despite the unknown situation. The figure did not speak immediately. Instead, it studied them both carefully, its sharp eyes focusing on Rayla first, then on Ji-won. The figure's armor was sleek and dark, blending with the shadows around them. It looked like something designed for battle, strong and intimidating. "I am Myron, a warrior of Xenia," the figure finally said, his voice deep and strong. "I was sent to greet you." "Sent by whom?" Ji-won asked, still unsure about this mysterious warrior. "We came to ask for help. The Draxel are coming, and we need your people to join us in the fight." Yuren's eyes narrowed, but he didn't seem surprised. "I know about the Draxel. We have been watching them for some time." His voice softened, but there was an edge of sadness. "We feared this day would come. The Draxel are a terrible enemy. They have destroyed many worlds." Ji-won looked at Rayla, who nodded in agreement. "That is why we need your help, Yuren," she said. "The Draxel will not stop until they have wiped us all out. We need your warriors to stand with us." Yuren tilted his head, studying them both. "You seek our help, but the Xenian people are not easily convinced. We have our own ways. Our ancestors fought battles long before the Draxel ever came to this part of the galaxy. We do not fight unless we have no other choice." Ji-won felt a spark of frustration, but he held it back. "We don't have time to waste. The Draxel are coming for us, and if we don't unite now, we will all fall." Yuren's expression softened slightly, and he stepped closer. "I understand. But you must prove to us that your cause is just. If you can show us that you are truly worthy of our help, we will fight with you." Ji-won and Rayla exchanged a look. What did Yuren mean by prove? They didn't have time to waste on trials or tests. The Draxel were already on their way. "We don't have time for tests," Ji-won said, his voice rising. "We need your help now, not later." Yuren stood still for a moment, his gaze unwavering. Then, slowly, he lowered his weapon, the glowing spear resting against the ground. "Very well," Yuren said. "If you wish to prove yourself, you must first face the trials of Xenia." "The trials?" Ji-won repeated, confused. "What kind of trials?" Rayla stepped forward, her calm voice cutting through the tension. "What does this involve, Yuren?" Yuren raised his hand, and a low hum filled the air. The ground beneath their feet seemed to vibrate, and Ji-won felt a sudden surge of energy. "The trials of Xenia are a test of strength, courage, and unity. You will face 3 challenges, each one designed to test your worthiness to fight alongside the Xenian people. If you succeed, we will join you in your fight against the Draxel." Ji-won felt a wave of doubt wash over him. He had never been a fighter. He was a scientist, not a warrior. He wasn't sure how he could pass a trial designed for warriors. But then he remembered the changes he had been feeling inside himself, the power that had been growing stronger since his bond with Rayla. He looked at her, and she gave him a small, encouraging smile. "You are stronger now, Ji-won. You can do this. We can do this together." Yuren seemed to sense the change in Ji-won. His eyes softened, and he nodded. "You will need that strength. The trials are not easy. But if you are truly ready to fight for your people, you will prove it here, today." Ji-won nodded, taking a deep breath. He didn't have a choice. The Draxel were coming, and this was their only chance to gather an army strong enough to stand against them. "I'm ready," Ji-won said, his voice steady. Yuren stepped aside and motioned for them to follow. Then let us begin. They walked through the dense forest, the trees towering above them. The air was thick with the sounds of unknown creatures, and the ground beneath their feet was soft with moss. Ji-Huan could feel the weight of the trials ahead, but he also felt a strange calm settling over him. The power flowing through him from the bond with Ryla was like a steady heartbeat in his chest, guiding him forward. After a short walk, they came to a clearing. In the center was a large stone platform, surrounded by a circle of ancient stones. The air felt charged, like something powerful was about to happen. Yuren turned to face Ji-Huan and Ryla. The first trial is a test of strength. You must face a beast of Xenia, a creature known for its power and speed. If you can defeat it, you will have proven your strength. Ji-Huan's heart raced. He had no idea what kind of beast they were talking about, but he was ready. This was his chance. The Draxel were coming, and he had to fight. He had to be strong, for himself, for Earth, and for Ryla.